Hello everyone and welcome to Leadership Evolution. Today I want to talk to you about how to earn trust. Your ability to do business with other people, your ability to relate to anybody around you completely depends on trust. Think about it. Would you do business with a salesman that you can trust to follow through on his promises? Or would you do business with a salesman who only has his best interest in his mind and will do whatever it takes to get the sale? Who gets promoted? Someone who's trustworthy or someone who isn't? And who wants to partner with somebody who can't be counted on to do good work? Trust is the very foundation for everything that you want to accomplish in life. There's an old saying that used to be a lot more common than it is today, and that is, your word is your bond, and you're only as good as your word. Back in the Old West, you would get shot if you didn't keep your word. You'd have a gunfight at the OK Corral, I don't know. It's never a good idea to be untrustworthy. And your success in life depends on your trustworthiness. You are constantly in a trust relationship, and everything that you do either builds that trust level up or tears it down. Of course, there are obvious ways to destroy trust. Lie, cheat, steal, break your promises, become undependable. All of those are real obvious ways to lose trust with the people around you. And there are also less obvious ways to lose trust with the people around you, such as looking out only for yourself, never taking full responsibility, doing half-assed work whenever you do a job, gossip, presenting yourself as different than you really are. There are a lot of ways you can destroy trust, but I want to talk to you today about how you can earn trust, how you can build trust with everybody around you. And it's going to sound very simple, and it is. It's simple to say, but it's extremely profound. So everything in life depends on the trust level that you have with the people around you. And I want to say that you're responsible for that. You are responsible for whether or not people trust you. It's not on them, it's on you. And I want to give you today the main way that you can build trust with people around you. It's going to sound simple, but it's not simplistic. It's going to sound easy, but it's anything but. If you build trust with the people around you, it's going to be because you made an intentional effort at doing this. And here it is. Keep your agreements. Nothing builds a career better than gaining the reputation of being a man or a woman of your word. Whether it's a deadline that you commit to with your boss, a promise that you make with your coworkers, follow-up that you promise after a sale, getting to work on time, or money that you promise to pay back, you've got to keep those agreements. Whenever you fail to keep an agreement, your trust level goes way down. But every time that you keep your agreement, your trust level goes up. When people learn to trust that you'll do what you say you're going to do, or that you won't do what you say you won't do, those people are going to want to spend more time with you. They're going to want to give you greater responsibility. They're going to want to give you their money because they trust you when you sell them something. So be careful about what you agree to. Keep track of what you agree to. And most certainly keep your agreements. Now this begs the question, what do you do if you agree to something and you figure out somewhere along the line that you're not going to be able to keep the agreement? We all know that life happens, and sometimes you think that you can get something done and by a certain deadline, but then, something that you hadn't counted on enters the picture. Some variable enters the picture and you realize, oh man, I'm not going to be able to keep that deadline. I'm not going to be able to give that person what I said I would give them by the time I told them I would give it to them. So what do you do in those circumstances? You made an agreement, but you know you can't keep it. Here's what you do. Renegotiate the agreement ahead of time. Go to the person that you made the agreement with and let them know and tell them, hey, look, I'm not going to be able to keep this agreement and here's why. And then let them know all the variables and circumstances and all the unforeseen things that came into play so that you aren't going to be able to keep the agreement. When you do that ahead of time, when you go to the person that you made the agreement with and let them know that you're not going to be able to keep the agreement and here's why, now you're going to be able to collaborate about all the things that came into play as to why you're not going to be able to keep the deadline. Here's the deal. If you wait until after the deadline to let them know all the reasons why you didn't keep the deadline, all of those reasons sound like excuses and they sound like whining. And nobody wants to do business with somebody who makes excuses and with somebody who whines. and your trust level will go down. All of those reasons that you give after the deadline for why you couldn't keep your agreement, if you had just taken those same reasons and gone to the person ahead of time and explained to them, I don't think I'm going to be able to keep the agreement, and here's why. Now it's not whining and complaining and excuses. Now it's reasons that you can collaborate about. And you're building the trust of the other person, because now they know that you're the kind of person for whom keeping agreements is so important that you're not going to wait until after the deadline to let them know that you couldn't keep the agreement. You're going to come to them ahead of time and let them know that, hey, circumstances happened. Here's what happened. I've got to renegotiate. The deadline was then. I need to make it for some other time. And that's how you build trust level with other people. There's another important topic when it comes to keeping your agreements that we have to talk about, and that is, what do you do when you break an agreement? Now, hopefully you'll never break an agreement, but we all know that we're human and it happens. Sometimes it happens accidentally. Sometimes we intentionally break an agreement because we want to, but there are going to be times when you break an agreement, when you break a promise. And if we're going to talk about trust, then we all have to know what to do when we do break an agreement. So here's what you do when you break an agreement. Clean up that broken agreement as soon as possible. Breaking an agreement always erodes trust. And avoiding the other person or making excuses or selling yourself as a victim just seals the deal. People don't trust people who don't stand up and face their failures. So do whatever it takes to keep your agreements, but on those rare occasions when you do break an agreement, commit to cleaning it up as soon as possible. How do you do this? You go directly to the person that you made the agreement with, and you take full responsibility for what you did. Don't offer them any reasons for why you did it, because that just sounds like excuses. You don't have to give them any extenuating circumstances for why you weren't able to keep the agreement. Just admit what you did, take responsibility for it, and let them know that it won't happen again. You can offer reasons and circumstances and your thinking only after you've taken full responsibility for having broken the agreement. And even then, only if they ask for it. You don't need to offer reasons or circumstances or your thinking in order to clean up a broken agreement. You just need to admit that you did it, take responsibility for it, and assure them that it won't happen again. When you develop a reputation as someone who keeps their agreements and takes responsibility for them, people will trust you and they will want to do business with you and they will want to be around you. Maybe there's some things that you've done to develop trust with those around you. So what have you learned about how you develop trust? Comment in the section below so that we can all learn from you and engage with you around that. If you have any questions or comments about today's video, please leave those in the comments below too. As always, thank you for watching today's video from Leadership Evolution, and I'll see you in the next video.